Hi, this is Mitch from Rookie Cup Cards, and it's been a minute since my last video, but here I am. And I wanted to share with you today a collection that I had put together that was really, really fun. Um, what I did was, as I was getting back into collecting, I wanted to like have a kind of a focused way of collecting some cards of the all-time greats, and so I love tops in particular. So I decided to put together one card from each of the first 50 years, so 51 to 2000. And I kind of set some parameters for myself that I had to either be an iconic card or Hall of Famer. And I kind of gave myself some leeway of kind of, Hall of Fame worthy in the case of, PEDs in some cases. And I also wanted it to be an individual player card, preference towards rookies or rookie cups, and I also wanted them in SGC slabs, just because I love the look of the cards in those slabs, and so I was going to display them on my wall, and so it was very fun to put that together because I guess one other rule I had is that there were no duplicated players. So, if you pick Mickey Mantle for 1 year, well, then that's it, which is helpful because, he's expensive. And so, it's nice to mix in some cheaper players as well. So tonight I'll go through the first 10 cards and I'm going to go in chronological order. So these are, most of the big hitters since I'm going from 51 to 60 here. So without further ado, here are the cards. So the first card I have is the 1951 Topps Redback of Warren Spahn. This I ended up picking up in a raw and upgrading it to, which I knew it was going to be around then, but there is a kind of couple creases across here that might be hard to see in the camera, but I thought it just looked really great as far as, color and centering. In the back, shows a little discoloration, but that's, just fits with the, vintage of the card. So thought about going with Yogi Berra for this one, but the way things worked out, I ended up with Spahn. And that's was, like I said, part of the fun part about this collection was deciding, which card and which player I was going to go for each year. For 1952, I went with the Minnie Minoso, and so kind of his rookie card here. It's his first Topps card, and a little bit poor registration on this one, but as far as the 52 Topps goes, they can be fairly expensive. So I was happy to get this one in a one to save me a little bit of money that I could put elsewhere. And as far as other rookies in 52 Topps, that was got expensive real quick. So one of the other players I had first considered for 52 was Ed Matthews, until I realized how much his 52 Topps would cost. So, but his 53 actually is pretty reasonable. And so this, I think I picked up for like $40 or so. And I think it's just like a beautiful card. There is a crease. You can see it vertically on the card. But I don't think it detracts much from like the beauty of the card, and the color and everything on this is great. The centering is beautiful. And so I was very happy to have this as 53, and actually love the 53 Topps set. I also considered pretty seriously the Satchel Paige, but that card, even in a one, runs probably around $600 or more. So decided to go with the Ed Matthews here. And then in 54, lots of good rookies. I was hoping to get one of them, and so an Al Kaline ended up being my, kind of most affordable that I was still happy with. This card has seen lots of love, lots of creases, some going across the face as well. So, yeah, that does kind of stink, but like honestly, it doesn't detract too much from my enjoyment of the card. Like, I really do love the centering, and the corners look pretty great, and the color on here is nice. And so, to get a rookie card of, one of the all-time greats, you know, for, what I paid is, I thought was really great. So, um, and, just again, the 54 tops, like I really like the design, even the backs are beautiful. Um, and so this is my only 54 tops at the moment, but someday I would like to add to this collection. The 1955 card that I have is Ted Williams, and this one isn't authentic because of evidence of trimming. It's the only authentic card in my 50-year run here, but I did that to save a little money as well. I think I ended up getting it for like $100 or so. Someday I may replace this with an unaltered card, but for now, I mean, just like the look of the card is great. If you ignore the trimming, it would probably grade well, maybe a 2 or 3, but there's also some spots in the corner here. But, again, that doesn't detract from my enjoyment of the card much. So maybe this will stay as is. But, beautiful card of Ted Williams. I can contemplate it at Harmon Killebrew, with his rookie here. I'm a Twins fan, so I think I may end up picking that card up in the future as well. But for now, I needed a spot for Ted to fall, and for me, that was 1955. And in 56, I had to go with the Jackie Robinson. This card is the most expensive card in my collection here, and I wanted to get it in a good enough condition to not have it detract, from my enjoyment of the card, but that made it fairly expensive. And this one, with the centering and color, and like, I just thought it was great. So this is the grayback version of the card. I personally don't care which version, so I was open to either when I was getting them. And yeah, just super happy to have this one in my collection. And next card for 57, I ended up getting the Frank Robinson rookie. And this one, I guess I was really surprised at how affordable it was, considering like the caliber of player that Frank Robinson was. And so, getting this in a 2, which, honestly, at first glance looks way better than a 2. It's, centering is okay. The color and registration look great. There are 2 small kind of, it's almost like the start of a crease, indentations there and there. And then there's like another small little like spot there where it's almost like an indent on the back, I think. And so that, I think, is why it gets the, 2, but it's just a beautiful looking card. And it was one that I didn't think I was going to be able to afford in something that, I guess, looked this nice. So I was really happy to pick this up in a 2. And, even though I know these creases are there, when I look at it, I don't even see them. So I'm just super stoked to have this one. Next up for 58 is the Hank Aaron. And so I struggled with, like with a lot of the players, it's like, well, there's, several years during, Aaron's career that I could have, picked up a card in. But, as I tried to fit other players in, depending on what I found and which cards I liked of that player, this is what ended up, where he ended up falling. And, I do really love the green and just the picture of Hank. Like, some cards, I feel like he, in the later years, like, you can really see his age, but here you can kind of see some of that, that youthful face there. So I thought that was really cool. There's the back. I always love the little extra cartoons and stories they have on the back of the older cards. I kind of missed that from some of the newer cards. And then in 59, I ended up going to Ernie Banks. I actually contemplated like swapping 58 and 59 between these 2 players, but based on the cards available and, these cards, I just decided to go this route. And Ernie, I think was just like a great player. My only I guess like regret is that I didn't have a card with him having a big smile on it, because there were several cards like that, where he's just, smiling and, looking like the happy player he was. So, but, still, this is a great card to have. So happy to have him in this run. And the final card for the first 10 years is the Stan Musial. And this is the 1960 Topps. I think this is his first Topps card, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. And this one, I ended up, the first copy that I had, it had a couple pinholes in it. I think it was a 1, and I wasn't sure, like, if that would detract, from my enjoyment of the card or not. But as I looked at it, I decided that, where they were, like, my eyes kind of like were drawn to the pinholes. And so, picked up this card. This does have a kind of a fold of the paper on the front in this corner down here. But that doesn't pull my attention away nearly as much as the pinholes did. So this is what I ended up with, and I sold the other copy. So Stan was just one of the more underrated players, I think, and so I'm really happy to have one of his cards in my collection. All right, so that was the first 10 years of my collection of the one card a year for the 50 first years of Topps. I'm very curious to know what anybody thinks about, I guess, the selections I made as far as players and which year, that I selected for the card. This will be a bit more interesting as I go along, because, how everything kind of plays together, who you pick for one year impacts who you can have for next year, etc. So I'm going to share a link in the show notes of a Google Sheet that has, kind of how I broke things down across all 50 years. And I'll make that, I think I can make it so that you can comment on it. So you can comment there, or even just like in my video here, and let me know, like, your thoughts. What would you do differently? Either player choice, year choice, etc. So until then, keep on enjoying your collections out there, and I will see you in a bit with the next set of 10 years. Thanks.